What do you want to do tonight?
The same thing we do every night, Pinky. Try to take over the world.
You might think that getting into the IT field is impossible without a computer science degree, but Tech Coach Ralph is here to prove you wrong. Get ready for some jaw-dropping revelations on how to break into this lucrative industry. Listen up, tech enthusiasts! Are you ready to break through into the IT field, but feel like you need a computer science degree to make it happen? Think again! Tech Coach Ralph has some exclusive, mind-blowing secrets to share with you. Get ready to be blown away by his jaw-dropping revelations on how to break into the tech industry without a computer science degree. So get your notepad ready, because Tech Coach Ralph is going to change your life forever. Buckle up, because you're about to embark on a journey to success in the IT field.
It's time!
Welcome back to another episode of Q&A Night. Tech Q&A with yours truly, Tech Coach Ralph. That's who I am. I am Tech Coach Ralph, and I am here to answer your questions tonight. On this channel, we are nothing but engineered to win. We put in the work, we work hard, and first and foremost, let's just start off with shout out to D in the chat. He says, what's good? What's good with you, D? Always great to hear from you. Before we go any further, gotta get this up, because how can we be engineered to win if we do not say that we are engineered to win? There we go. Right there. Tech Coach Ralph, engineered to win. That's what we do here, right? That because, let's just start the night off early.
I mean, all we do is win, man. You know that.
All we do is win, and we have a wonderful, wonderful show in line for you tonight. Tons of questions, tons of answers, we're gonna have some fun, right? See the new lighting that I got in the background. It's just I am amazed by this, every day 1% better, whether it is in coding, whether it is in QA, whether it is in video quality, whatever it is, whether it's in jiu-jitsu, we just continue to get better. We continue to level up. All we do is win. All right. So with that being said, let's not waste any time. Let's get into our agenda. All right. So first and foremost, as always, I want to say thank you to all of the newest subscribers. I am meeting so many people. People are reaching out to me. I'm reaching out to them. It is amazing. And
I appreciate you.
I truly do. I truly appreciate you. Listen, right? I'm going to get into this a little bit more before we get into our questions, but it's a tough market out there. Let's put it that way, right? For whatever position you're trying to get into, whether, it's QA, I'm a QA engineer. I've been in QA for a very, very long time. I know a lot of tips, tricks, and everything like that. But even with those tips and tricks, it is not easy. It is a hard market, especially with the influx of people who are graduating from boot camps, and, they might not have exactly all the knowledge that they need. So, Tech Coach Ralph is here for you, trying to help you. I cannot make you any promises, but I will do the best that I can to put you in the best possible position to win. And you know what? By you signing up to the channel, by you subscribing to the channel, by you joining the Patreon, even if you join for free, I still
appreciate you,
right? Because it just puts me in closer contact with you to help you to get to the to the next level, to wherever you're trying to get to, right? Trust me, it's not going to be easy, but it's going to be worth it. All right. So because of that, and even when
ain't believing us,
I still believe in you, but you have to put in the work. All right. You have to put in the work. So shout out to all of you. Shout out to the new subscribers. Shout out to the old subscribers. Shout out to the barbarians, to my barbarians. All right. And, I'll get into this a little bit later, right? But over the weekend, I did some work with one of my barbarians. It was a great time, and they're going to be producing some amazing things to help them level up in their future career as well. All right. So if you're new to the channel, or maybe you're not new, right? But if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, what are you waiting for, right? Do we really have to get all the way to the end of the show before you subscribe? Look, there is so much information that's coming out on this channel that will be coming out because I already mentioned it. You know, Tech Team 6 is coming soon, right? Already announced. We have our next cybersecurity Q&A happening for the month of December, right? We're not even December yet, and I'm already announcing it. Imagine that, right? December 12th. Tune in, me and Socks. Maybe someone else will join us. Maybe not. Who knows, right? But December 12th, mark your calendars. I'm about to schedule that maybe tonight, tomorrow. Schedule it. You know, it's 2 weeks away. 2 weeks away, right? But get your tickets early. Get your tickets early. Get a front row seat. Get your popcorn ready. So don't wait. Subscribe to the channel. Hit the notification bell so you can know every single time I go live, every single time I drop a new video, tons of content. Every single day you get something new. All right? Like the video, share the video with everyone, right? Share with everyone. And of course, check out the Patreon, sign up for free. See what's going on in there, you know? Maybe you want some one-on-one time, maybe you need some coaching. Maybe you need some resume help, interview prep, whatever it is. Check it out, right? Different tiers available, even a free tier. Check it out, and we will get to work because what we do here, in order to win, we must work. All right? We got to work. All right? So, with that being said, let's get into our live show schedule. So, we have our newest show. It is the morning show, Coffee and Kata, Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays at 7:15 a.m. Eastern time, where we talk about, you know, recent events, news for maybe 5 minutes to start the show, you know, get our mind warmed up, and then we go straight into our coding challenges. Yesterday, we finally opened up our PR at Chaos Camp to add a health check page. You know, we're doing the work. So tomorrow, we're going to continue with our test. You know, they're going to be automated, but we're going to continue with our test. So we can, you know, continue to get better, continue to get practice. Like I'm telling you, Don and I are working for this to be the future of interviews, right? Real life situations where you have to work your way out of it and you don't even have to finish it. And like for us, like if I was the one in charge of an interview and I say, okay, go ahead and I just want to watch you work through this challenge. I don't care if you finish it. You can make tons of mistakes. I want to see how you work. And for me, at least, I would say, like, I would make this the future of interviews, right? Because you get to see the mindset of the person. And I wouldn't even tell them the challenge in advance. I'm like, here's a challenge. Go and do it, right? I remember when I was doing that for the MP3 challenge. And it took me a couple of days to work through it. But in the end, it was rewarding. It was challenging. And the thought process that like it's going to make you better like that. All right. So join me for Coffee and Kata in the morning. Wake up early. Like you guys, like it's at 7:15. You should be up at 4:45, right? Up at 4:45. Get your day started. Get to work. All right. So join me in the morning, 7:15. Plenty of time. Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. Coffee and Kata. Right. Sunday afternoons, software explorations. We are still chugging along through the mean swamps of Terraform. Makes sense. I'm in South Florida. Everglades are like 5 minutes away from me. So we are going through the swamps of Terraform. We are having a great time. You know, we slowly but surely, we're going to get there. We are going through creating AWS virtual private networks in code. We were able to do it manually through the console, but nope, that's not what we want. It's not good enough for us. We want it done in code because as a QA engineer, heavily focused on automation, I want it done in code, and all I have to do is press a button, and then boom, right? I can even schedule it if I wanted to, right? So that's the plan, all right? So Sunday afternoons, software explorations. We're going through Terraform. Tuesday nights, tonight, the best night of the week. I get to hang out with you guys and answer your questions and questions that you don't even know that you have, right? I go out there and I find the questions for you. And then you're like, oh, I never even thought about that. That's a great question. Thank you for the insight, Tech Coach Ralph. All right, so Tuesday nights, Q&A sessions. And sometimes, like last week, we had a guest pop up. We had Andrew, and we had a great conversation. I clipped it, and I posted it on Saturday, right? Check it out. He had so much amazing insight to share. So check it out. But who knows who will pop up, right? Who knows who will pop up, and we'll have a conversation, have a great time, and we'll go on from there. All right. So then we have Thursday nights, software explorations, more software explorations, right? We are like, so last week I went live early because it was Thanksgiving. So I said, okay, let's get this out the way. I might come back later, but I was too exhausted to come back later that night. So we had our live stream in the morning. We went through Dockerizing Dockerizing an Express app. So we created a Docker image and then we started the container, all good. And, so that's what we do. Like we work. Like if you stick and hang out with Tech Coach Ralph, your knowledge is going to go like it's because I want you, like whatever it is that you want to be, whether you want to be a QA engineer, whether you want to be a data analyst or data analytics or data engineer, whatever it is, right? Software engineer, whatever, right? I'm going to put you to work. And you're going to thank me because you're like, man, this is so much, like I never even thought of this. This is so much more further than I would have been like if I tried to figure it out on my own, like through my Udemy course, because I recommend Udemy courses all the time. Do I recommend boot camps? Well, not so much, right? But I recommend Udemy. I'll recommend, like I never took a Coursera course, but I'd recommend it, right? And if you come to me like, all right, we're going to work and I'll give you the blueprint so you can get a lot further. I remember, right? Working with Stephanie and I was like, well, just do a Docker. Oh no, I never used Docker before. I'm like, give me 5 minutes. Let's try it. In 5 minutes, up and running. I said, okay, now, next time, do this on your own. Do this challenge, install Jenkins, right? She's a pro now. She's a pro. So, come hang out with me. Software explorations. Level up, right? You might not know it now, but trust me, follow along and you're going to get it. All right? So, let's have some fun. All right? Let's have some fun learning software, learning coding, learning all that good stuff. All right? So, with that being said, because
the only thing I'm addicted to right now is winning.
Yes, always addicted to winning. Not only right now, but forever. All right? So, let me just run it down really quick one more time. Our live shows Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, Coffee and Kata at 7:15 a.m. Eastern Time. News and coding challenges. Sunday afternoons, software explorations. We are focused on Terraform right now. Tuesday nights, my favorite night of the week. Q&A sessions. Thursday nights, more software explorations. Oh, by the way, this coming Thursday, I'm going to be going through some different terminal commands based off the video that's coming out tomorrow, which I will mention when we get into our pre-recorded content, right? So let's move on. Our pre-recorded show content, right? The schedule is Mondays, Candid Conversations. And yesterday, I broke down to you how the hiring process works because I don't believe many people know the different steps of hiring, the different people involved, the different levels, why some people get ghosted, why you never hear back, why you might get rejected. I break it all down, right? I break it all down. So check it out. Yesterday's show, Candid Conversations, right? Breaking down the hiring process. Wednesdays, we have software explorations, concepts and overviews. Tomorrow's video, I am going to be sharing the top Linux commands or terminal commands that I use on a daily basis, right? I'm not sure how many of you out there, if you're in tech, I'm pretty sure you use the command the command line on a regular basis. But I'll break down what I use the most, and I want to know what you use the most, right? So check it out tomorrow, dropping at noon Eastern time. Software explorations, concept and overviews, my top terminal commands that I use. And then Friday, we have the Bug Bite, one of my favorite shows that I create, the Bug Bite, where we break down different software related bugs into different companies, how it affected the public. You know, a lot of times it's focused on cybersecurity. Sometimes it's focused on outdated software, like this Friday, where we're going to be talking about the lawsuits that are going against Southwest Airlines. And then throughout the week, you know, I might be creating some more shorts, but, you know, I also have where I clip up this show, right? The Q&A show, and I just, you know, give you 5 to 10 minute videos answering the questions that I answer here, because sometimes you just can't sit for 2.5 hours here with me. You know, I know you love me, but sometimes you might have a little bit too much on me. So you have to have those small bite-sized pieces of the video, and that is totally A-okay with me. However, I can add more and more value into your life. That is my goal. All right, so one more time. Mondays, Candid Conversations. Wednesdays, Software Explorations. Fridays, the Bug Bite, sprinkled with Q&A videos that are released Monday through Friday at 3 p.m. Eastern time. All right? So, with that being said, that is our live show. Clap it up for our live show. And our pre-recorded show. And next, most importantly, most importantly, you guys need to level up your tech skills. You guys need to challenge yourself. So in order to challenge yourself, I want you to go to the Chaos Camp GitHub and choose a challenge and try it out today. And then if you do a challenge and you send us, right? You can send it to me. You can email me. You can put it in the comments of this video, whatever video you want. Send me the GitHub URL of your challenge. I will do a code review live on air. And there's so many things I want to talk to you about, but I think I almost forgot this one, but I think that's what I'm going to start the show with, right? But go to Chaos Camp and check out all the amazing challenges that we're creating over there, right? My friend Don, he is an absolute genius. And you know what? I'm going to post the link to the GitHub in the chat. And Don, feel free to post the link as well. Let's go right here. And let me know in the comments, have you tried a Chaos Camp challenge yet? Right? Have you tried one? I try one all the time. All right. And then also very, very important, I want you guys to go to my friend's Socks video, right? Nico Socks, right? Where he's breaking down his roadmap of getting into cybersecurity. Great video. I'm going to post that in the chat too, because that is a great video. Like when we did the Welcome to Cybersecurity panel 2 months ago, right? He shared that that diagram and the different routes you could take, and it is absolutely so valuable that you go out there. And once you go to that video, the link to the diagram should also be in the description. So don't waste any time. Go out there and get it, okay? Go out there and get it. So posting it in the chat as well. And then we get to, you know, after all that information, you got to subscribe to the channel at this point. Hit the notification bell so you can know every time we go live. Like the video, share the video, all that good stuff. Check out the Patreon, www.techcoachralph.dev, and go out there and win, right? Go out there and win. All right. Before I get into the show, I want to read the chat real quick. So we got Sean that says, "Hey coach, what's up, Sean? Great to hear from you." And he said he's sharing his philosophy with us. All right. So everyone, listen carefully. My philosophy is work hard on leveling up, building your connections so that it can increase the probability of opportunities. You know what? I love that philosophy. And you know what? Because of that,
Message.
that is a message. Do not forget that. I'm going to read it one more time because I love it so much, right? Work hard on leveling up, building your connections so that it can increase the probability of opportunity. Well said. All right. So, and Sean also says, Andrew is the GOAT. That is a fact. And we got Don in the chat after a hard day of work. Don comes. I have to read Don's stuff before I put it on screen because I have no idea what he might say, right? Okay, there we go. All right, that's good. Don says, I want to bedazzle cowboy boots and sell them on Etsy. Etsy is where it's at. And Don says his favorite Linux command sequence, AWKNR equals FNR and all this type of stuff in a file 1 and file 2. You know what? If that's your favorite, like that is way above my head. What the? Welcome to the channel, Quezzy. Welcome to the channel. You get a second one.
I appreciate you.
I truly appreciate you for subscribing to the channel. You know, but also hit the notification bell so you can know every single time that we go live. I would love to hear from you. Hope to interact with you in the chat today, right? All right, let's keep going. What else do we have before? All right, so that's it. That's it for now. So I want to talk to you about this real quick, right? So you see Don is in the chat, right? Don, how long have you been in technology? How long have you been in software? You know, I've been in tech for like 20 years now. I've been in QA for 15 years. And throughout, you know, and a lot of people that I associate with, like Andrew, right? Been in here for for so long, right? Socks, over 20 years in cybersecurity and stuff like that in the software industry, right? So, what is this thing? Hold on one second. That is annoying me. There we go. All right. All right, here we go. So, I've been in the industry for God knows how long. Andrew for how long? Don for how long? Right? We have Socks, other people, you know. So, this is like, do you understand what you guys are getting? Right? This is when they say $1 million game, right? How do you break that down? So, if you take all the years that I've been in tech, right? That's over $1 million of, you know, payments, right? Like salary, like all the salary of the years accumulated, right? Take Don, take Andrew, take Socks. And now we come and we gather here, either on this channel, on Socks channel, wherever it might be, right? You put all that knowledge together. That is multi-million-dollar information and game and experience that we're bringing to you, right? So when you hear
Message.
that means listen up, because we are trying to help you, because you might be new, like the intro, you might be new to the tech field, right? And we're giving you this information that it's not free, because we, like, through countless nights like of no sleeping, right? I remember nights where I'd be up to like 4 a.m. trying to figure out what's wrong with some code. I fall asleep on the keyboard, right? And then I wake up 2-3 hours later, and I'm like, oh, look at that right there. Boom. I know Don has been through that, right? Being like trying to save a company from a lawsuit, trying to support a company like through their like trying to create a service and sell it as a product. Been there. So when we are giving you this information, that is multi-million-dollar game, right? Any content creator who is sharing how they got to where they are, right? That's $1 million game, multi-million-dollar game, right? So appreciate it, listen up, take notes, because we're here for you. We're trying to help you out. And if you think because, it's not in a boot camp where you're paying $20,000 for it on credit, where now they leave you high and dry trying to find a job, we're just trying to help you because we're still doing our things, me and Don still creating software, creating applications, collaborating. But we're like, we want to give back as well because everything that we've been through, we want to help you. So pay attention, appreciate the $1 million game. All right. So shout out to that. Shout out to Tech Team 6 and the Technical Operations Unit. The panel's coming soon. And we're just going to keep on giving back, giving value. Going to keep on leveling up. Going to keep on winning. All right. So that being said, I think it's time we get to the show. I think it's time to get to the show. So before we do that, though, let's read what Don had to say. 14.4K modems. Is that how long you've been in tech, Don? Jesus Christ. And he says, first tech job started in 1998. And he was there to prevent Y2K. And the reason that Y2K did not kill us all is because Don was our superhero.
Let's get it. We the best.
Yes. All right. So now let's get into our show, right? But before we do that, of course, what do we always do at this time?
Please offer me your energy. I ask of you, please.
All right. So the way this is going to go, I'm going to read the question and I start the timer for 5 minutes. And if I forget to start the timer, then I am sure that
good guy
will pop up and let me know, hey, you forgot the timer. And I will make sure to get it started because he is always watching in the clouds because he is a
good guy.
Yes, he is. All right. So 5 minutes. I'm going to ask the question and then we will go. So let me put the timer up. Timer's up. And let me put the 5 minutes up. Okay. So here is the first question.
Another one.
I have a software idea or an application that I want to build, but I'm not sure where to get started. I have the final idea. I have my UI, my UX design and everything like that, but I don't know how to actually get started building the software. Do I go out there and I hire a front-end designer? Do I hire a, back-end developer? What do I do? I just don't know. So let's get to it then. All right. So here is my advice to you, right? The problem with when we have ideas, right? We see the end goal, right? So we'll have okay, I'll give you an example. I have this mobile app that I wanted to, calculate the distance of, or here it goes. I have this mobile app where I wanted to be able to find me parking on South Beach, right? tell me what parking is available, whatever, right? And I have this nice design, and like when I go into the app, it's gonna do this, that, whatever, right? So now, what do I do? Okay, so I took a front end class, right? Front end development class, and you're like, okay, I created a design, or maybe you hired somebody to create a design for you, and whatever the case may be, right? But here is where I believe most ideas, especially when it comes to websites or applications or whatever it is, right? Whether it's a desktop application, a web application, a mobile application, right? Whatever the type of application is, this is where I believe most ideas go to die. The graveyard of ideas is you don't know the software development principles, right? So you think that, well, there's another thing too, which I'll touch on, but you think that, okay, I have this design and I'm going to build Rome in one day. No, it's not going to happen, because you need to, whatever you're trying to build, right? And like, even if you're not building software, like let's say you're building a house, there's a plan to building a house. You're not like, oh, I'm just going to go out and buy this today and buy that tomorrow, and then we have a house built. No, there's a project manager, there's budgets, and there's everything like that. There's time frames and everything, right? So the problem is that we just try to do stuff without having any organizational principles, right? So what do I mean by that, right? What's your MVP? What does MVP even mean? What's my most valuable player? What? This is basketball? It's NFL. I know it says Tech Coach Ralph, but what are you talking about? No. MVP is minimum viable product. What's your MVP? You need to have something that you can start off with, right? And maybe you don't know the history of Twitter. I'll tell you real quick, right? From my understanding, Twitter was started as an internal communication application for whoever, I think it was Jeff Dorsey, whoever was it that was there, right? Who was, or Jack Dorsey, but whoever was there, right? Who were, it was an internal tool. And then, as like more people, like they made it public, and then more people started using it, and it became to what it is today, right? But I don't think what Twitter is today is what the original intention was when they started it, who knows how long ago, right? From an internal little tool to what it is today, right? So your software idea, it can change like that, right? Because who dictates the software? Is it you? What you want? Because it could be what you want and nobody uses it, and you just have a software for yourself and you spend a lot of time and money on it. Or is it the customers who dictate? But how do you have the customers dictate what to build, right? That's by the MVP, the minimum viable product, the general idea of what you want to put out there. And then based on feedback from the stakeholders, which are your customers, you continue to build and develop based on that, right? Your product can have a total shift, but what is more important? Your product being successful or your product being exactly what you wanted, where it just becomes a personal product, right? So what I would say is, like, you need to work in increments, study Scrum, study Agile, work in increments, and say, all right, here is the one flow that I believe will be valuable and add value, and let me find a way to get that built. And then you break it down into smaller pieces where you're like, okay, now that I have, so this is what our one flow is going to be. All right, let me build the first part of the flow. Let me build the second part of the flow. Let me connect those two, right? And now I have working software. It might just do one thing, but it's more than it did yesterday, right? So you have to build the very first part first, right? First part first, duh, right? You have to build that. And you get those integrated, and now you're like, okay, cool, this works, right? That means you have to get it tested. You have to get it developed. You have to get it tested, right? Got to get it deployable, right? Not deplorable, but deployable, okay? And then you look, okay, so now, I would strongly recommend you learn the principles of Agile. We're going through them on Thursday nights, the principles of Agile. Learn the principles of Agile. Learn Scrum. Learn how to write a user story. If you want to build your own software, it's not just, oh, I have a layout. Great. No. It doesn't work that way. You have to have user stories. You need to, because if not, it's going to become unmanageable, right? Have your stories, have your plan, manage the project, right? To get something delivered. And then once it's delivered, you put it out there, you see how it hits, you make modifications based on that, you get feedback, and then you build based on that. You iterate based on that, but you don't try to do everything. Like, you don't spend 2 years building a software. Not today anymore. You got to get to market fast, put something out there, and build it based on the feedback that you get. You know, the other day I was hearing different business ideas and stuff, and I'm like, man, these are great ideas, but I hope they don't go to the graveyard of dreams. All right, so let's see what Don says real quick before we end this question. Don says, software is still open for the game of telephone. You ask for a cupcake, and at the end, you get a pork chop covered in chocolate if you don't check in and verify each stage of the process. Well, you know, pork chop covered in chocolate might not necessarily sound all that bad. But on that note, all right. So let's move on to our next question. All right. So this is going to be a good one. Let's get to it.
Another one.
Hedging my bets. Is QA a field I might be good at? Bit of background. BA, or I guess Bachelor's of Arts, News Editorial Journalism, Masters of Art in Art Emphasis Photography, currently employed in my dream job as the primary photographer for my university. Oh, talk about dreaming low. About 85% of my work is shooting athletics or theater/dance. Pay is decent and job security is excellent. As far as performance is concerned. But, that's a big but right here. I live in Louisiana and I have a distinct fear that our new governor will work to destroy higher education because education is a threat to him. And as there are 8 public education schools in the state and our budgets are actually the only thing that the legislator can mess with to fix state budget issues, there is a concern. So I'm trying to have a backup plan as my job is not widely available and there are only a handful of positions like it. Several schools in our conference don't even have a full-time sole photographer on staff. That said, I have always had a knack for poking holes in processes and thinking through issues to try to cover all bases. I have no idea if QA is the right search path for me to start with. The example I could think of best is in Baldur's Gate 3. Someone had to figure out every possible permutation of how the player would behave in situations and create dialogues or whatnot for those situations, or a new corporate policy that would create questions and having those questions already answered. If this doesn't make sense, I apologize. I don't know the proper QA language. If I missed the thread about it, feel free. Okay, I have next to no software experience. Some backend stuff on e-commerce from a job a decade ago. some minor HTML or CSS from a useless web dev class 20 years ago. Double. I know enough to know I don't know near enough, and while I am a fast learner, I am way behind the curve. Any suggestions? Like I said, I'm not worried about my job immediately, but I have a hard time imagining it's not at risk of being laid off in a few years. That was a long one, but you know, some people, they just got to get it all out. So let's start a timer, right? So hedging their bets, right? Is QA a field they might be good at? I guess anybody could be good at any field, but here's the thing that absolutely aggravates me, right? Why is it that like QA seems to be the dumpster of bad decisions, right? So many people will go to school for these degrees that they don't do any. I'm really curious to know, what is the salary of this person who is a photographer for the athletics at this university, right? You know what? I'm just gonna Google it. College athletic photographer salary. Sports photographer. Oh, okay. That's in Louisiana. I am curious. I am absolutely curious. So, as of November 19th, 2023, the average hourly pay for a sports photographer in Louisiana is $16.22 an hour. Yeah. So, they really enjoy it. I can't fault them for enjoying their dream job at $16.22 an hour average in Louisiana. Maybe it's a low cost of living state. I don't know. But they are in fear that the governor is going to lay them off, right? You know, personally, me, because this person seems like they have, they did HTML e-commerce 20 years ago, so they might be a little bit up there. But they are afraid of the governor. And like I said, it bothers me when people, they make these type of decisions and now they are in fear because it is a job that is not popular and that they know that it's not going to come around again. They pretty much got lucky. If it was me, and I needed a photographer for the college team and something, right? I would find some student, pay for them to get a Udemy class, have it as an internship, as a hobby or something like that. That's just me. I could be totally off right here, but I don't know. But like I said, my pet peeve is that QA becomes the dumpster of bad decisions, where it's like, all right, I did everything wrong, but maybe QA is for me. Maybe QA is for me because you are able to find problems. Well, I think a lot of people are able to find problems. I not know what the Baldur's Gate 3 is. Let's find. Why don't we find that out? Maybe I'm missing something. What is Baldur's Gate 3? Oh, it's a video game. Their best example is a video game that about the permutations, about how a player would behave in a situation and create dialogues or not, or whatnot for those situations. Yeah. So would you be good in QA? I mean, I guess you can get ISTQB certified, and you could, and then you could go to a boot camp, and then you could, take a Udemy course, and then start to apply for every QA position on LinkedIn. But you're going to have a lot of competition. But maybe the e-commerce job from a decade ago and the minor HTML or CSS that you did for useless. And there's a problem, right? And you're calling the web dev class useless when that should have been the most important class that you took, right? But apparently the journalism, the BA in journalism, and the master's in art emphasis photography was what was being focused on. But now, because you're afraid, you want to come and join us in the QA. I don't know. Yeah. I don't like. You know what? It's like this, right? When I see this and I get these type of questions, and it's like, well, I went to school to be a, English major, but I can't get a job. I wonder if I can go out there and maybe being a doctor is right for me. I don't know. Maybe I can just. Is there a boot camp where I can become a neurosurgeon? I don't know. Let's see what Don has to say about this, and then let's move on. Don says, as soon as I heard e-commerce, I knew he was as old. I knew he's as old AF like me, but I keep my skills fresh. Don, you are not old. You are just like, you're like wine, all right? You're like wine, all right? So let's wrap up this question and let's move on. Timer up. Jesus Christ, timer. All right, cool. Let's get to our next question.
Another one.
Social anxiety. I've been in QA for a while, 8 years, but I feel like I have some social anxiety at work. I'm not sure why it occurs. It could be performance anxiety. Maybe that fear of not finding bugs. I have worked in companies that focus on bug quotas. Also, might be fear of doing the task wrong and feeling that I'll get the blame if the task wasn't done. I feel it could be the work environment and also performance anxiety. I tend to get good performance reviews. I feel it could be imposter syndrome where I've done the interview well and having a fear that I won't be able to do the role, which tends not to be true. Okay, so that is a very, very good question. I think that as QA, right, we feel that all of the burden is on us, right? And that if the software doesn't work, we're like, oh my goodness, I missed something. I'm an idiot. How could we feel like stupid, right? But rest assured, not the Java library to test APIs, but rest assured that that is not the case, right? Bugs will always make it into production. You want to try to prevent the obvious bugs, right? But it's inevitable, right? And then when the bugs make it into production, we fix it. We do a debrief on what happened. Some call it postmortem, some call it root cause analysis. It depends on what it is, right? And then you have to go and fix it, right? Like this past couple of weeks, we've been having to deal with some production issues, and we fix it, you own it, and you go on from there. You find out what you did wrong, but everything does not fall on you, right? There are so many different levels of testing. There's code reviews, there's unit tests, there's integration tests, there's component tests. There's automation tests, there's API tests, there's UI tests, right? There's some manual testing that you do. You're checking different environments and everything like that. And still, bugs will still make it into production, right? So many different layers. Why wasn't it caught during code review? Why wasn't it caught during unit tests? Why wasn't it caught during component testing? Why wasn't it caught during integration testing? Why did the API go through, right? So many different things, so many different stuff that we don't always see, you know? So the onus is not all on you. The social anxiety or the performance anxiety, here's like most people who are in IT, I would say, you know, especially on our side of IT, like the software engineers, the front end developers, the cybersecurity folks, the QA engineers, probably introverted, right? Probably introverted. So it's hard for you to like speak in front of people and all that. Because believe it or not, I am super introverted, right? But I also know how to perform, right? Because you need to market yourself, and you need to show like, okay, I know my stuff. And you don't only come out when there is bad stuff happening. You also have to celebrate the good, right? If you did something good, make it known. You created some automation tests that are preventing issues, preventing bugs, that are regression testing and stuff like that. Make it known. That's what sprint reviews are for. Let your stakeholders know this is how we are assuring the quality of the product. And this is, so then when something does happen, they already know like, oh yeah, they have all these checks in place, things happen. But if you don't say anything, like, what the hell are they doing over there, right? I told you a story a while ago where at a job that I had a few jobs ago, and I was new to the company, not too familiar how it goes, and new to API testing, and I didn't know about testing certain type of ways, and something broke in production, and one of the customer what is their name? Customer success managers, right? Comes like, oh, I thought this was tested. What the hell are you guys doing over here? And I was like, oh, taken aback. But I'm like, okay, cool. I got it, right? And we made things work, right? So what I'm trying to tell you is like, you have to perform. You have to put your introvertedness aside and share, be involved in, and then be involved in all of the Scrum ceremonies, right? Asking questions during story refinements, right? Asking, okay, how do you envision us testing this? Oh, did you consider this? Did you consider that? Give opinions on the product that you're building, because all of that matters, right? And then that's going to take you out of your shell of that social anxiety, because when you believe that you're contributing to the product, then you are more a part of it. But if you just like sit back and wait and you're like, oh, I'm just here to click a few buttons and just test and test and test. Nope. That's why you're going to feel that social anxiety, and that's why you're going to feel all the pressure. But when you come out early in the project and you make everyone a part of QA, a part of the quality of the product that you're building, you put ownership on everybody. You might be responsible, right? The owner of quality, but that is your job to make everyone be a part of quality and everyone to be quality minded. And that's what we call shifting to the left. And I guarantee you, the more vocal you are, the more involved you are, that is going to dramatically reduce your social anxiety, your performance anxiety, your imposter syndrome, because you are not an imposter. You just play one in your role because you are not vocal enough. And you continue to get great performance reviews, right? So don't be afraid of making mistakes. You own it and you fix it, right? That's what postmortems are for. That's what root cause analysis are for. And about the bug bounty thing, right? Make your voice heard that is not the proper practice in an agile environment. Our goal is to reduce bugs before they even happen. Like, we catch them early because we do not want bugs. We want to go to market. We want to provide value to the customer. That is our only goal, providing value to the customer, right? And the way that we do that is by not allowing bugs to be like, we don't do bug bounties, right? We do great software. We catch things early during development, and we share with the developers our thoughts and our ideas, what we see are the risks, so that they can take that into consideration while they're developing, so that we don't have to go back and forth trying to fix bugs. We go straight to market. All right. All right. So what does our good friend Don says? Don says, Ralph, if you trust me, run this in your terminal live. Echo. No. No, Don. No, I will not do that. I will not, Don. I will not. All right. So. All right, let's move on. I hope you guys are having a great time, right? I hope you're finding this super informative. There are a lot of people who are subscribing to the channel who want to get into QA. They're new. They might, like Sean, he told me last week, part-time QA analyst, right? Celebrating Sean as always. So I just, like, before he even posted the chat comment, right? The chat message, I just brought up Sean about his new position, right? So what a perfect time to shout out to Sean and read his comment. He says, Coach, as a new QA at my job, we talked about an application we will be testing, but haven't started much yet. Yes, that is totally normal, because you have to plan, right? If you're going to be building the application, then you need to start getting the stories. Are you guys working in an agile environment? I mean, hopefully the answer is yes, right? But that is a great opportunity for you to be part of the software development process, to add insight. And you know what, Sean, you're gonna have to reach out to me, because you are in the perfect position to add value to the project that you're working on, because I know you said it was part-time, but that is how we're going to turn you into full-time, or at least have the experience, so that you can job hop to another company that would be paying you more, and that was going to be full-time, so you can get even deeper into your career. But yes, this is very normal, because it's part of the planning, right? And as the software is being built, right? So you'll have a story saying, okay, we are going to create this endpoint for this API, which is going to do X, Y, Z, right? It's going to, when you send this type of request, it's going to write something to the database, right? So now when you're planning this, you're going to be asking questions like, okay, how long should the request be? What type of data can it take? Is it going to be a number? Is it going to be a true or false? Those are the type of questions you're asking, right? And now, like, by you asking those important questions, you're also putting it into the mind of the developers. You're figuring out how you're going to be testing it. And then, so now once that's done, okay, now, once you use this application, that, like this endpoint that's already done, then we're like, okay, what is the next thing that's going to do? So we're going to build this, and you're just going through the same process over and over and over. And you're going to see very quickly, right, that it's all going to start to come together, right? So right now you guys are building I want to say the foundation. I would say you guys are working on the blueprint, right, of what's going to be followed to get the MVP, the minimum viable product, completed, right? And so you're putting all that together. And then when you start working on it, you're going to be building the foundation, so step by step. And that's how it's going to be, right? So what you're going through is totally normal. And I am so excited for you. You are in the perfect position to win.
I mean, all we do is win, man. You know that.
All right. So if you have any more questions, John, don't hesitate to drop them in the chat. I will definitely answer them for you. All right. So, once again, I am super proud of you. All right. Let's put the 5 minutes up, and let's go to our next question.
Another one.
New to the game. How long should I expect to be looking for a job in this field after graduating boot camp with no prior experience. But I'm consistently putting in apps every single day with an advisor-led updated LinkedIn and resume cover letter. Graduated a month ago. Just really trying not to get discouraged since I put a lot of work into this potential new career. At the same time, need blunt honesty in responses. Let's start the clock on this one. Oh, I hate this question so badly. Why do I hate this question so much? Because I feel like every single day I'm getting people in the same exact situation and it really hurts my heart. Why does it hurt my heart, right? A couple of reasons. The first reason is I hate having to spend an egregious amount of money, right? And then what your expectation is, what you were sold, you don't get it, right? I like to over deliver and deliver early, right? Which I'll give you an example real quick, right? With my tech barbarians, right? Where I'm coaching, the highest level is that you'd get like 2 hours a month with me, right? But that's the minimum because just this weekend, I was working with my future data engineer, right? Gave her a strategy to do, right? And I said, and I worked with her last week on it, worked with her this week. I said, let's get on a call. Let's set up your computer so you can have the necessary tools so that you can market yourself. It's a long-term play, but let's set you up now so that you can continue. Like by the time you get to where you want to be, you have tons and tons of information out about you so that you're like, hey, recruiter, look at me, look at this, look at that, and boom, right? But I invest time in the people who want to invest in themselves because when you sign up for these, right, what you're paying me, it's not really anything, right? But because you're investing in yourself, I'm like, okay, we're going to do this together. I want you to win, all right? So, like I said, over deliver and deliver early, right? That's my goal. And I think sometimes that maybe like I push them too hard, but if I don't push them hard enough, then the process is going to take so much even longer, right? So with that being said, I just, these type of questions, they really hurt me because I'm like, man, every day it's someone new. Oh yeah, I took this boot camp and they gave me this resume, and then I look at the resume and I'm like, oh my God, this is egregious. These like this resume is terrible. And like, oh yeah, they created it for me. I'm like, oh my, this cannot be happening. Which there, so now there's a demand, there's a need, and like Don and I are like, okay, well, what can we do? What can we build to, what can we leverage to help these people with their resume, help them with their application? So then now we're building tools, right? That we're gonna make it available to you, but you're gonna have to join our team to get access to these tools because they're not for everybody, you know. And here's the thing, right? So many people are in your same exact situation, and here's the answer to your question: how long is it gonna take? I've spoken to people who've been applying for over a year. I've spoken to people who they've been applying, and they have not heard any feedback. Why not? Well, I'm gonna guess, right? Based on, I would guess the boot camp that you have attended, right? I could guess exactly how your resume looks. I can guess exactly how your LinkedIn looks, right? I can guess exactly who the connections that you have on LinkedIn, right? And all of it, every single last one of it is bad. And it's so bad that at this point, whenever I get a resume, and I do this for free because I feel bad for you, right? I say, all right, I get the resume, I skim through it real quick. I'm like, okay, this is what it is. And I'm like, all right, go ahead. And I just copy and paste the general resume feedback that I give to most people because I know, like, I'm like, just go ahead and do this first and then send it back to me. I'll take another skim at it. But if I have to do like spend like the deep dive through it, then like it's good. I don't have the time capacity. Like you'd have to be a Patreon member, at least at the lowest tier for me to actually spend some time looking at your resume and giving you some like personal feedback, right? But I just don't have the capacity to like go through line by line on your resume. And then at the higher tiers, I'll sit down with you on a live call and we'll break down your resume, try to get it right, you know? But it's a long road. It is a long road. Like you're like the situation that you're in because of the saturation and that's caused by the boot camps and like especially in QA, right? And then you have like, you know, for cybersecurity and like the boot camps are saturating the market, right? Because when you look at the job descriptions, a lot of them are like bachelor's in computer science and stuff like that. And they're like, oh, I got a boot camp degree, and then your resumes are terrible, right? So it's a tough sell. It is a tough sell. So you need to properly strategize, right? And in the Patreon, I have a video like that's saying like how to strategize for jobs, how to use LinkedIn effectively, like how to have your like I give you my own resume that you can use as a guide, as a template, so that you can have the right resume. Because I guarantee in the bootcamp they say like, oh, your resume shouldn't be more than a page, 2 pages at the most, And guess how many pages my resume is? Guess how many pages my resume is? 5 pages, and I list all my history. I list all my courses. I have a very clear summary of what I've done, the value that I bring, all that. But that's Patreon level game. So, but it's gonna be because guess what? You every single last one of the people who graduated the bootcamp with you and who are behind you in the bootcamp and who are ahead of you in the bootcamp are your competitors, right? And if the bootcamp created the resume for you, right? That means they created the same crappy resume for your competitors. So now you guys are all on the Titanic. But guess who are the first people who got into the rowboats? The ones that you paid a lot of money to. It's you wanted the blunt, cold, hard truth, right? That's what it is. I was helping somebody today, like giving them some feedback on their resume, and I'm like, are you applying for are you applying for positions that are on-site and hybrid, or are you only applying for remote? I'm like, how's the job market in your area? Oh, you know, it's a small city, and I've only been applying for remote. There's not many options in the city. I'm like, well, you might have to move because as an entry level, remote is not like it's not going to be your a viable option, right? As someone who is experienced, right? It's not even that easy to get remote, even as experienced nowadays, right? So do you think that you're gonna get remote at entry level? You're gonna have to you might have to move. During the pandemic, everyone moved away to wherever, and now, you know, you're in the middle of nowhere. There's no jobs to be found. You're gonna have to move. You might have to move, right? If you really want what you say you want, you're going to have to make sacrifices. Simple as that. You know, I'm not selling you anything. So I can be honest with you, right? The reason that the Patreon cost is so low is because I want to be honest with you. I don't want to just give you like nonsense information just so you can sign up and like make you feel good. No, I have to be honest with you. The only thing you're paying for in the Patreon is like for my time. But whether you sign up or not, like me and Don are still gonna be good. Me and Andrew are gonna be good. Me and Socks are gonna be good. So just trying to like being honest with you. Check out. So here's some practical advice, right? Check out the building a QA portfolio video, right? Go subscribe to the channel. Go through all the videos. Go to the lives. Follow along with that. Just do those things, right? So you can add those to your resume. If you just follow along those things and that I've done on this channel, so that you can add them to your resume, learn those things, I guarantee you that you're going to get a lot more traction on your resume. But submitting a manual QA tester resume in 2023, 2024, not going to get you anywhere. Sorry. Especially when it's the same crappy resume that everyone else in the boot camp, those who came before you, those who are there with you now, those who came after you, you guys all have the same resume. So you're not going to get anywhere, right? This question, I hate it because it's always the same thing that happens. And I see it every single day. Everyone who reaches out to me, whether it's on LinkedIn, whether it's on Instagram, whether it's on YouTube, right? So that's why, based on what I see that all these people are going through, I structure like the way that I coach, right? I don't teach, I coach the people that I work with on how like what to go acquire, so that they can add that to their resume, and that I challenge them with Don's challenges. You saw Stephanie do the rock, paper, scissors challenge, right? All of those things so that they can be in a better position to win. Because my goal is for them to be 5 times further ahead than someone in this particular situation, because that's competition. And what we do here,
I mean, all we do is win, man. You know that.
simple as that. All right. So let's read some comments real quick. So let's go with Don says, seems like he needs a tool that will conform the job description to his resume. If only there was a tool that did this. If only, Don. If only. The world may never know. And Don said, bootcamp resumes are like clones. I've gotten 3 in a row once. I thought it was duplicate printouts. Every single last one of them that I see, every single day, it's like they are exactly the same. And to the point that now I know, like when I look at their LinkedIn, one of the Slack groups that I'm in, right? There's an intro bot, right? And then they'll do their introduction, and then they'll say, "Oh, I'm a QA engineer. I'm a software engineer, web designer, whatever," right? And they have their LinkedIn. I go to their LinkedIn, and just by looking at the graphic at the top, I'm like, okay, I know exactly what bootcamp they went to. Then I start scrolling down. I see the internships, and I'm like, okay, I know exactly what bootcamp they went to. It's just a dead giveaway, and I'm like, that's why I have a totally different strategy that I employ for my tech barbarians on how they can actually get experience and practical working knowledge so that they can have interview talking points, resumes that are going to hit. I never make any guarantees, but I know that as soon as I working, you heard it from Stephanie, right? When I was working with her and we made some modifications to her resume, the contacts just started rolling in, But it is what it is. It is what it is. I am so sorry. Like it hurts me to give that answer, but that's what it is. All right. All right. We got Kwesi in the chat. I hope I'm saying your name right. I hope I am saying your name right. Kwesi in the chat says, I am new here and already loving it. I have my A+, Network Plus, and Security Plus, and don't know what to do next. What do you suggest? Well, before we go on, I want to shout you out because those are great certificates to have, because those actually add value into the type of positions that you're trying to get. A+, Network Plus, Security Plus, very good. But my question to you is, what is it that you want to do? Because here's a mistake that a lot of people make, right? They start gathering certificates. Like if anyone remembers the college dropout, right? From Kanye West, right? From Ye. And there was the Little Jimmy skit when his degree addicted dad died, and all he had left was the degrees, right? The degrees kept him warm, right? And that's what his dad left him. But the dad was also buried with some of the degrees, right? A lot of times we value the certificates, but we don't know what we're going to use them for, right? And I'll put maybe I'll put 3 minutes on this, right? We value the degrees, but we don't know what we're going to use them for. And I think that's a mistake that we make, right? And it goes to the same principles of like the way that I run my pretty much my life, right? It's in a Scrum fashion, to the point in like in my Tech Barbarians Slack group where we work. I have a bot for stand up where, maybe other people don't use it as much as they should, but I use it so that I can keep myself accountable of what did I do yesterday? What do I plan to do today? And if I have any obstacles, and how I'm going to resolve those obstacles, right? So, and that's how I properly plan, like, what am I going to do? Why am I learning Terraform, right? Why am I learning DevOps? Why am I learning Express and MongoDB? And that's what I went shopping for Black Friday, right? I went shopping for courses and for lighting, as you see behind me, right? Things that add value, right? in Tech Niche's show the other day, they're talking about Black Friday and Cyber Monday, and I said, if it's not for content creation, nothing's getting spent this holiday season, right? That's how it is. So, what do I suggest, right? I would say first, you need to know what it is that you're interested in, right? Because you say you have Security Plus, for instance, right? Network Plus, A Plus, great stuff. But you need to have a plan of what's the end goal. What roles are you interested in? If you check out the video that I released last week, we went over the which one was the one from last week? Site reliability engineer, right? I think that is a viable option. And then the week before that, we went over identity and access management engineer, right? Which is that is more of cybersecurity related, because I see you have the Security Plus, might have some kind of correlation in there. The site reliability engineer, I can see it fitting in with Network Plus, A Plus, a lot of Terraform type stuff. Check out all the Terraform videos that I've been doing. Let me know in the chat why did you get those, and what is it that interests you? Because there is so many different opportunities for you, and getting those certificates, it's a great start, but it's not the end all be all. And like you maybe didn't hear this when I started the show, but we have our cybersecurity Q&A, right? Being that you have Security Plus, it seems like you might be interested in cybersecurity. Our cybersecurity Q&A is going to be happening December 12th. Official start time is at 8 p.m. But you know me, I like to get the party started a little bit earlier. So I'll be starting my live at 7:15, and then we are going to join Socks on his stream at 8 p.m. and we're going to party up over there. I already have the lights, right? Socks is going to have the steaks, and we're going to answer your questions, right? So if you have any questions about cybersecurity and stuff like that, let me know. I'm going to put a post on my community tab so I can start gathering those questions. And we're going to take, calls like in the chat as well, or questions in the chat as well, right? But that's the first thing that I need to know. Like, what is it that you're interested in? I'm thinking about my Wednesday videos where I'm going to alternate weeks, right? So one week we're talking about some type of software. The other week we're going to talk about a position, and then the next week about a software. The next week about a position, so that I can show you like the amount of money that you could potentially make in a role, how to get into the role, what they do, all that stuff. So you can have a blueprint of what you need to do, what you need to learn, right? Because like for instance, right, for the site reliability engineer, learning about logs and maybe Sumo Logic or Splunk stuff like that. That's where you want to go to. Maybe you want to be identity and access management. Then you need to focus on that part of it. Learning Terraform, so many different things, right? So I think you have a great start, but we need to figure out what is the actual goal, right? A lot of times we do some of the steps, but we don't have the actual goal, which this is helpful, and you can go into anything that you want to go in, but you do need to, we do need to set a goal, right? That's what I would say at this point. But I would also suggest you sign up, like you subscribe to the socks page, right? Because just because I see you have a security plus, right? And I think that that can be very helpful to you. I know that he is launching. I think he said January 11th or January 14th. He's launching Socks University, where he's going to be helping you get into cybersecurity, different programs and everything like that. So we like hang with me, and I can give you many different options and help you get there. It just depends. There's so many options, and sky's the limit for you, right? Sky's the limit. So shout out to you. You know what? On your first, not even an hour subscribed, and you are adding so much value to the people. Because all of this question, I answered this question for you. I guarantee you, so many other people are going to get value off of your amazing question. So thank you so much for that. And if you let me know what you're interested in after this question or whenever you do, I promise you, I will answer you and I'll get back to you. All right. All right. So now we are going to go to let me read this real quick before we go to the next question. So this is in relation to Sean's question, right? Don is saying, is there a spec or a series of specs? This is the perfect time to ask questions. There may be huge gaps in spec. A bug can be in a few places, the spec, story, or the code. And that's what I was saying earlier, Sean. It's like it's a perfect time to ask all these type of questions to get more familiar. And being that you're new to the company, you're gonna wow them by the type of questions that you're asking, because they're like, oh, like this part-time QA analyst is that knowledgeable, asking these type of questions. And that's what I meant earlier, right? This comment by Don, this comment by Don here, right? This message by Don, that is what I'm talking about, the $1 million game, right? Because Sean asked a $1 million question and Don gave him a $1 million response, because starting the project, very normal, super important. This is where you get to a lot of things figured out, so that you have a plan of attack, you have a blueprint, right? Think about it as the Navy SEALs training ground, right? You are getting prepared to go into battle, and you just need to make sure that everything is in place, right? So amazing. Don, thank you so much for that answer.
We the best.
Yes, we are. All right. So let's move on to our next question. And Kwesi, I'm looking out in the chat for you, okay? All right. Let's go to our very end. If anyone wants to call in, right? The link is in the chat, and it is pinned to the top of the chat as well, and it's also in the description. Click on the link and we'll have a conversation. You don't have to be on camera, right? I can keep you off camera, and I give 3 minutes. We can have a talk, right? Whatever you want. Click on the link and join, and let's have a conversation. I am here for you. All right. This is the only night that the link is in the chat where we can have a conversation, So hit the link, join the show. All right. So the next question, we're going to
Another one.
lost in my current QA job. Hi. Hello. So I joined the company as a entry-level QA automation engineer, but I'm currently doing manual testing at first. Okay, that makes sense. I'm with you. How I got hired is a long story, but I was hired after graduating. So it was because I had a passion for this field and I love doing software related stuff. But, whoops, my bad. A little too dramatic there. I love doing software related stuff, not because I had experience in QA automation specifically. I was always fascinated by the DevOps part and liked how it combines development and administering systems and environments. And my current manager says he wants to make my position sort of a QA ops engineer. So we'll be doing testing in the scope of containers and pods in Kubernetes, and also testing pipelines with of course some APIs and end-to-end tests here and there. My problem is after discovering the QA field, I honestly don't find it fun to do, as I feel like all the tasks done by testers can be done by a developer, from unit tests up to API and load testing, just like in SDET. So, if someone can elaborate more on the part of combining DevOps and QA automation and tell me what are the tasks and technologies used when testing in that scope. Also, I'd like to hear feedback on the part that the developers can do the testers' tasks. Well, that is a great question, and I am so happy that you asked it. So, and I've answered this type of question before, but I don't think it's here, right? So let's go first with the developers doing all the testing, right? And there's no need. I need to get a "you're fired" sound bite, because why do you need QA if developers can just do the job, right? Because if the first reason, right? If the developers could also do QA, which technically they can, when would any software get developed, right? And the worst thing that you can have is the person who developed the software also test their own software, right? You feel what I'm saying? The person who developed the software also building or also testing the software. It doesn't work that well, right? But the very first reason, if QA was to, if QA was no more and developers had to do it, all of it, right? When would they actually have time to develop? So yes, of course, developers, they write unit tests, or at least they should write unit tests. If it was up to me, it would be doing test-driven development, right? But the integration testing, the QA mindset. So the second part is the QA mindset, right? You heard Andrew last week say that he used to be a developer and then he went into QA. And as a developer, his thought was, all right, how do I build working software? But as a QA, how do I break what is supposed to be working software? How do you context switch like that if you're only one developer, right? You're gonna end up like with split personalities and being bipolar and everything like that, right? It's not gonna work out too well, and that's what QA brings. Like that risk assessment that QA brings. Should we do this at this time? How does and then QAs, they are also customer advocates, right? Thinking about, okay, is this the right user functionality? Because developers, developers can develop the hell out of anything, right? But is this the right move for the customer? You know, so that's how to answer that question, right? Number one, like developers are not going to have time to do every single task. So that means you want the developers to actually build the software, to write the unit test. Then they have to write the test cases. They have to create the test plan. They need to write the automated test for it. They need to do the manual testing that's necessary, right? They need to build a pipeline that the tests are going to run through, all of that stuff, right? So while we're at it, well, can the developers also own the product, right? Can they manage the project as well? Technically, yeah, you know, anybody can do it, but can a dentist provide like regular medical advice? They can. Should they? Probably not. that's why we have different roles. You know? And do you ever plan on getting to market? So that's that part of it, right? Now, the second part is a lot quicker about the QA ops thing, right? I mean, if you had to combine with QA all the things that QA does, right? It would be dev, QA, sec, ops, management, support, right? But at the end of the day, we're just QA, right? We're QA engineers. We might be SDETs, whatever, right? But our ultimate focus is what is the quality of the software that we're delivering? Are our customers happy, right? So if you want to call it QA ops, great. I'm a QA ops. I'm a QA architect, whatever the case may be. I don't really care. I just want to continue to deliver dope software, right? And because you see me learning Terraform on the live stream, right? You see me going to Docker, right? What QA engineer is building Docker images outside of me, outside of Don, right? I'll tell you this. If I come across a resume and it says Docker on it, I'm like, oh, okay. I like that. If I see Terraform on it, I'm like, oh, I like that even more. Tell me more. If I see like you're dabbling in AI and stuff like that, I'm like, oh, this is the type of person I want on my team. This is the type of person that I want on my team. You know? And you know, using Docker, using Kubernetes, using containers, setting up infrastructure, I'm with it. I think that's great. But the very first and the most important thing for QA is making sure that the customer's needs are met. And it's not like you're doing one by one things for the customer. No, the value that you're adding into the software that you're building is for all of your customers, and you are that customer's advocate, and that is the goal. Some people, like I remember a few months ago, I said, "What is the most important thing about developing software or about QA?" And some people were saying, "Oh, it's about the requirements being met, the specs, and all that." I'm like, "No, it's about customer satisfaction. If your customers are satisfied, the specs can change, right? Because we're building towards the needs of our customers, of our stakeholders." All right. So think about that. Think about that. All right. You think, and I'm going to say, you think that, like you don't find it fun to do QA because the task can be done by testers. And that's the problem. You're seeing them as testers, right? I'm an engineer. Don is an engineer. Andrew's an engineer. Sean, even if he's not aware of it yet, he is an engineer, right? But we engineer quality. What's the definition of engineer? Let's put that up real quick, right? A person who designs, builds, or maintains engines, machines, or public works. The verb design and build a machine or a structure, right? We're engineers, right? And the same way that you're doing the QA ops and stuff like that, you won't even have that position if you do not care about the quality of your software. And if you want to dump it all on the developers, the application is never going to get built. So then they really won't need you, right? So think about that. And before we go to our next question, Don says, "Don't be a robot, be a unicorn." And we are always solving for X. And our motto is always be solving. All right. So that's that. All right. And to answering, so Don is answering Quessy's question as well. Also, out of all your certain skills, think about the area that lights you up, then run with it. Facts. And it should light you up more than the amazing colors in my background. That's what you want to go for, because and then like whatever it is, like, and here's the thing, right? You just get started, right? Because as you keep going down, you're gonna find like different pathways and stuff like that. Check out Sox's let me see if I can pull it up actually. So I'll put it in the chat for you, Quetzy. What is it? What is it called? Welcome. There it goes. I'll put it in the chat for you as well. It is my good friend Sox, who's going to be on the on our cybersecurity panel. Maybe Don will be there. Maybe he won't. I don't know. Right? Or our Q&A for cybersecurity. But I just posted it in the chat. Check out his. He has as a JPEG and as a PDF where you can see his roadmap to cybersecurity and the different pathways you can take. I think it might be very, very helpful for you as well. So check it out. All right. But yeah, very great insight. Just do something and then it'll take you down the path of where you really want to be. All right. But like if you just sit around and you're asking, you're not going to go anywhere. Right. So do whatever lights you up. And let's get ready for our next question. Let's go.
Another one.
Question for those who do automation. I've been playing with Playwright JavaScript by following a Udemy course and quite comfortable with just finding and selecting elements. Basic UI tests, really. I use real websites, not what they use in the courses. Question is, how often do you find yourself writing actual programming code for scenarios you want to achieve? Or do you keep the test as simple as possible and just mostly select this, click here, has this, does that, put through a pipeline, and you're done? I'm learning JavaScript as well. So what can you help me with? All right. Great question. Very, very great question. So, our clock. And I think the first and foremost, you must be a subscriber to this channel because your approach is gold. Right? When I read your approach, I was like,
Money.
yeah. So using real websites and not just following along, that's what I do with pretty much everything, right? On Terraform, on Sunday, going through Terraform, I always deviate from what they're doing because from what the course I'm taking doing because I want to actually understand it better myself. I want to learn it. I want to know what I'm doing. So like learning these VPCs, going through like the AWS configuration so I can recreate it and then create it in Terraform, right? So what you're doing is perfect, right? Now, your question is, how often do you find yourself writing actual programming code for scenarios you want to achieve? All the freaking time, right? Everything, like all the time. I am always like, if you could see some of the automation tests that I've written before, right? It's some crazy stuff. I'll give you an example of an integration that I did, right? In Java, using TestNG, there's a feature called like data providers, right? Where you can either feed the data like through an inline list or array. You can have it go through a CSV file. You can have it go through an Excel file. And there's different libraries to get those to work. But here's a problem that I was always having with that, right? Is I didn't want my data to live as part of the code base, right? Because if I needed to add another line of data, I'd have to go in there, update the Excel file, then I have to commit it and all that type of stuff, right? And I didn't like it. So what I did was I went and I went to Google, right? Got a Google Developer Console or whatever they call it, right? Got an API key. And I said, I'm going to create the data provider from Google Sheets, right? So did all that integration, figured all that good stuff out. and I put my test data in there, right? So now when the test is running, it goes through there, and then I can just throw in another line. I can delete a line of test data. I can do whatever I want to do, but I do not have to go inside of the code base to update test data, because I believe that test data should be as externalized as possible, especially when it's like for tests, right? If it's something that's like static or something, not necessarily static, but like it's configuration information, I'll pass that as a parameter in 9 times out of 10, right? But I want my test data so where I can like, I can add to it, I can modify it, I can change it, whatever the case is. And the best way to do that was through Google Sheets, right? The best way to do that was through Google Sheets, and that integration was absolutely amazing. And then doing that years ago, right? When I was interviewing, I told the manager like, oh yeah, and I did this through Google Sheets, or I would feed the test data, and it was like, oh wow, I never heard of that before. That is QA innovation. That is QA engineering. That is QA architecture, right? And if you're new, right, to QA, to my channel, you're like, oh man, this is like, that's crazy. Like, it doesn't even make any sense to me. But the reason that I share that with you is because there is so much more that you can do. And like the last question is like, oh, you know, anybody can do it. The developers can do it, whatever. But as a QA person, you're like, oh, how can I do this better? How can I push forward, right? So, and like, if you could see some of the automation that like, for instance, the challenge the first challenge that I did from Don, right? That was the MP3 challenge, where you're extracting different attributes of an MP3 file, and you're trying to do validation and getting the duration and stuff like that. That was a lot of research that we had to do, but it was so meaningful. But that, like, the further you get, right? Because guess what? I've been seeing positions about testing video, right? But if we're just sticking to like, oh, I'm going to test this e-commerce website, that this fake e-commerce website, right? Fake e-commerce website that some bootcamp gives me, that no one's actually even buying. Like, you're not selling anything, right? It's not real, right? But I can only imagine the type of stuff, the type of automation stuff that Don is doing. So it's not just these basic things. Like, the further you get down the rabbit hole, the more complicated tests that you're going to have to figure out. Like, here's another type of position, right? Where you are testing ads that are inserted into videos, right? So for instance, like with YouTube, if you don't have the premium, you get tons of ads on your video. But as a YouTube employee, I'm not a YouTube employee, but I know what they do, right? They have to test the functionality of inserting those ads at different spots of the video, right? And guess what? Meaning that I work for a video company, not YouTube, but I work for a video company. I understand the process and what they have to do to accomplish that type of testing, where you're inserting ads at different spots of a video, right? So to answer your question specifically, right? It's not mostly just select this, click here and that, right? Maybe for like in the boot camps and like the new entry level people who are trying to get into automation, maybe that's what they do. But things are getting more and more complicated. And of course, like, yeah, I still have some tests that are like, navigating a website and stuff like that. I do it for fun, to teach you guys, to help you guys level up. But as you continue to get deeper and deeper into the different sectors of testing, it's going to become a lot more complex, and you're going to have to really engineer some solutions. All right. So, and that's when like Terraform comes into play, Docker comes into play, all of that stuff. All right. So Don says, Chaos Camp Web Challenge Shadow DOM may change his mind. It definitely changed my mind. And Don says, I worked for many years for a forensic investigation software There was little vanilla web tests and very complicated tests and tools to create test data. It is what it is. You know, it's not all roses. All right. Let's see our next one. Okay, for this one, we're gonna get a drink here. All right. Let's get to it.
Another one.
Rant to everyone that is a data analyst. To everybody that became a data analyst, kudos to you. Be happy and appreciate it. There's people like me out there trying to be one, but it just isn't working out. I feel like an absolute failure. I stopped looking for the data analyst jobs and just accepted a job at a call center at a big company. I'm going to try to become a data analyst internally. But I'm a college dropout, been in the US for 2 years, so I'm not that competitive. The only experience I'm relying on is the few internships I did as a web developer while in college because computer science was a major. I'm a good web developer, but got to software engineering and realized it wasn't for me. So I tried to become a data analyst, and I know I would excel at the job, but the job search to get one has been absolute beep. Growing up, I always wanted to be in tech. That's why I went to college and majored in computer science, but now I'm nowhere near tech, and I feel like I'm failing myself, especially my younger self. Failing your younger self? You're already past your younger self. How could you fail your younger self? On top of that, I ended up with 3 kids and still not where I want to be in my life. I know I'm only 24 with 3 kids. Holy. But this is the time. I know I'm only 24. Wait, you're only 24, but you failed your younger self? I have to get out my calculator. So you're failing your younger self. You have 3 kids and you're 24. Oh my God. My mind is like going all over the place now. But this is the time in life where you start being a man. You're a guy with 3 kids at 24? Oh, this is getting crazier and crazier. But this is the time in life where you start being a man and doing the things you set out to do and achieve things. And I will be working at a call center. I think I missed the lesson that life taught when it showed you how to excel in it. So clarification, life never taught you that lesson because nobody learns that lesson in life. You just got to figure it out, and you have to have the right mentors. I must have missed that class because I'm just a struggling 24-year-old man with a family. I just wanted to rant and let the whole world know that I'm a failure. Maybe I'll meet someone who is where I want to be in life and teach me how to get there. I had a father, and I still do. Well, that's good. And he was a hardworking chef, but maybe I missed all the lessons. I don't know. I'm a terrible husband, a terrible adult, and maybe all of that makes me a terrible father too. But I'm trying, but if it doesn't feel like it's enough. I see myself doing more, but I can't seem to grasp more. And then there's an edit to this question. I have a data portfolio of 3 projects. I'm versed in SQL because of my web development background, and I picked up Excel and Tableau, Python in February. I only have 1 certification relating to data analytics from Code Academy. Whew. That's a tough one. But, well, I'll tell you this, right? I am happy that you are so hard on yourself. But being hard on yourself is only the first and starting point, right? What are you going to do about it? You are, well, you have a lot on your plate, right? Like Don says, his younger self tells my current self that his back hurts, right? And I wonder if your back is hurting too, because you've been in the country for 2 years. You're a college dropout. You have 3 kids at 24, and you're married and everything like that, right? That's a lot, right? And it's great that you told the whole world that you're a failure, but you do not have to be a failure forever, right? Because
The only thing I'm addicted to right now is winning.
and I want you to become addicted to winning. And guess what? You had the right mindset when you said that this is this is what,
Message.
this is what this is the advice I gave somebody today, right? Without any experience in QA, you might have to take another role and then transition internally into QA once they see what you're capable of, what your past knowledge is, right? So being a call center, like I started in a call center, and that's how I got into web development. I was just going for network engineering, right? And now after 20 years, that's when the subnet stuff is coming back because I'm working through Terraform, learning about AWS, VPCs and stuff like that, right? Subnets are coming back into play, right? So I think at 24, although you have a lot on your plate, you're like, the book isn't written. You're still on like your second chapter of your book out of a very long book, right? And this part, maybe you'll meet someone who is where you want to be. Did I even start the timer? I didn't even start the timer. Oh my God, you guys gonna get on me. Let's start the timer. Right? But this one is warrants going a little bit longer for, all right? Maybe you'll meet someone who is where you want to be in life and teach you how to get there, right? What did I say earlier today? $1 million game, right? $1 million information. You have in this chat, right? Don and I are here tonight. We've been working for 20 years in the tech industry, QA, right? We've seen it all. And guess what? We still make mistakes. And we fix those mistakes, right? So maybe you'll meet someone who is where you want it to be, right? Here's a question I have to the chat, right? To the chat. How do you meet someone who is where you want to be? How do you do it? You have to be intentional at every single thing that you do because, some people get lucky, but the majority of people don't. And I go based off the majority. I don't go based off the probability, right? Or I go based off the probability, not off the possibility, right? Because is it possible that someone's just going to reach out to you and says, oh, you seem like a data analyst. Let me try to mentor you and try to help you, right? Is that possible? Sure. Someone might knock at your door and say, hey, I heard that a data analyst lives here. I want to help you, all right? I'm going to forgo all my time and I'm going to invest it totally in you because you're a 24-year-old who feels like a failure with 3 kids, dropped out of college, and you did a class on Code Academy. And you believe that you're a terrible husband, terrible father, terrible human being. But that's not going to happen, right? So how do you go out there and find the people? Well, you have to look them up. You need to see, where are the people that I want to be like? Where are the people that I want to learn from? Right? And then you go there. and you cling to them, and you tell them that you value them and you want to learn from them. And I would say you need a mentor, and you need to pay your mentor for their $1 million. Like, you can't afford them, right? But reach out to the people who are where you want to be, and ask them to coach you, to mentor you, and say, hey, I need your help. You are an expert, and I need your help because this is where I want to be. This is like this whole rant that you did. You share that with them, and you leave out the stuff about being a total failure and all that type of stuff, right? But get over yourself. You're 24. Get over yourself, right? It's not that bad. I like the accountability, but it's not that bad. But accountability without action is just excuses and blame, right? So find a mentor where and you find the people who are where you want to be, and you reach out to them and say, hey, I want to pay you for your time to help me to get to where I want to be. Invest the money that you're making at the call center into yourself, because my time is not cheap. That's why I have my time cost calculator. It's not cheap. Don's time is not cheap. And with the groundbreaking technology that we're working on,
One more thing. Price of the brick going up.
the price of the brick is going up. All right? And I'm trying to tell you, like, if you just leave it to chance, you're going to fail miserably. You're going to feel even more of a failure than you feel now, right? If that's even possible. But you got to do something. Go to where they are. I have a video in the Patreon that says how do you use LinkedIn effectively, right? Who to reach out to, how to reach out to them, making the proper connections. Don't waste your connections on anybody. Let me see your calendar. That's my question now. Let me see your calendar. How are you allocating your time to get to where you want to be? All right? See what Don has to say. Don has to say, like I read it earlier, his younger self tells his current self that his back hurts. Just like I'm sure your back hurts from all the load that you're carrying. But you got to prioritize and execute. Now says, what I think is he will meet someone that can mentor him. English is not his first language. He needs tech coach Ralph. Well, I know that's what he means, but here's the thing, right? At least the way that he words it is that maybe he'll meet someone who is where he wants to be in life. But the way that he words it, like, if I want a mentor, I can go find a mentor like that, right? And anybody can find a mentor. But here's the problem, Don. Most people, here's the real problem, right? They will pay $10,000 to $20,000 for a boot camp, but they will not pay for one-on-one mentorship. The people who can get you to where you who can give you like the secrets and the insight, they want that for free. But like you just said, yesterday's price is not today's price, because why? Like you're getting this, right? You're getting Don and his amazing insight in the chat, but we don't we have things that we're building applications, our personal applications, right? We're working our regular jobs. We're creating content. We're developing. We're setting up our studios. We're doing all this type of stuff. Where do we find time to go one-on-one with you for nothing? Right? My boy Sean here, right? Paying $10K for a boot camp but not mentorship is so facts, right? And my second favorite content creator, right? Because I'm my favorite content creator, right? He said the other day, he's like, get a mentor. it's a lot cheaper than the routes that you guys are going, right? Like I would advocate, right? Like, and here's the thing: whether you're doing Udemy, whether you're doing a boot camp, whatever, right? I don't think that replaces college because based on your goals, the college degree will help you level up and it will help you it'll put you more in the door because the job descriptions say bachelor's, master's, whatever, right? They don't say boot camp. They'll say bachelor's, master's, or equivalent experience, but they don't say boot camp, right? So boot camp and 0 years of experience, it's not that easy, right? It's a long game. A lot of time we want to get it very fast, very low barrier to entry, but technology, I said this the other day, right? We will waste 4 years going for some journalism or political science and stuff like that, but then we want to do 3 to 6 months to get into tech. Where in the hell does that work? I don't get it, right? I mean, I do, but I don't get it. We prioritize our hobbies and then we try to rush the things that are going to get us to the next level. We are backwards. Totally backwards. We go into debt, right? For these useless degrees. And then we're begging, mister.
The fact is that I don't remember.
We're begging to we're begging for loan forgiveness, right? It's like, you promised us loan forgiveness, and then the response is...
The fact is that I don't remember.
They don't remember the promises they made to you. They don't remember the promises they made to you. Right? But then you want to go, you go into debt even more, paying for this boot camp, and then you don't want to get mentorship on how to get to the next level. Sean, you are Mr. Facts tonight. Let's move on. Why don't we? So let's end out this question. Let me put my timer up. And next question.
Another one.
QA struggles. I wanted to know what you're currently struggling with in QA. Struggling is a strong word, but let's say what you think can improve in the QA field, process, tools, stuff like that. Would be interested to see what people are going through. So, very good question, I must say. Might not take the whole 5 minutes, but I struggle with absolutely nothing. That is entirely not true at all, right? So, I mean, the things that, so I'll tell you this, right? In any position that you're in, and you're always going to be struggling with something. If you're not struggling with something, and if you've mastered it, then you're probably not doing something right. You're probably not learning. You're probably at a standstill. You're probably just doing the same repetitive thing every single day. And, that's where we're at. But the things that I struggle with today, they're not the things that I struggled with 15 years ago. They're not the things I struggled with 5 years ago, 10 years ago, etc. Right? So for instance, as you learn something new, right, you're going to struggle at it, right? And then once you get it, then you keep learning. If you don't keep learning in life, then what's the point, right? So for instance, something that I was struggling with was the web UI challenge, right? And then I went into Cypress, and then I was able to complete it, right? When I first started automation, I was struggling with learning Java, understanding Java. When I first started automation using unified functional testing, I was struggling with that. And then keep working at it, and I hated it to the very last day that I used it. I was so happy to move to Selenium with Java, but then learning Selenium with Java, I was struggling with that. Understanding the concepts of object-oriented programming, of how Java work, the IDE, and it it was a mess getting to learn that, right? But then after I got to where I wanted to be with that, and then I took a course on Java and getting better understanding, all that, right? That was a struggle, you know? But then I got the hang of that. And then I went into API testing. Like I told you the story earlier, when I first got started into API testing, no idea what I'm doing, made a mistake. The customer success manager was like, what the hell are you doing? Like, what are you guys doing over here? And, you know, whatever. Got better, right? So, for instance, like the domain that I work in now, it is super complex, right? And I have a better understanding of like, now I have a better understanding of like how YouTube works, how flow grappling works, right? Or flow sports, they call it. How the like NBC, Fox Media, CBS, like how their streaming services work, right? How their video playback works. I have a way better understanding of all of that now. How Hulu works, right? Way better understanding. But I'm still struggling with that because I am learning more and more of how to test it, how it works, and all that, right? And then it's like some assumptions that you might make that come out to be wrong. You're like, oh, why did like, and after the fact, and that's why it's so important to do the postmortem, to do the root cause analysis, because you get to reflect. It's like a debrief, right? So you go on a mission, you come back, you debrief, right? And it's okay, what, and that's another reason that it's so important that you're doing the retrospectives for your sprints to see like, okay, what went wrong? What went well? What we could have done better? What we need to keep doing? What we need to stop doing? So many different ideas, right? But the struggle is forever, right? It just depends on what stage you're at. I'll tell you this right now. Sean is going to struggle, right? Because he's on my team, though. He's not going to struggle as much as he could have if he wasn't, right? Because now he has the resources of me. He has the resources of Don, you know. He has the resources of
good guy
when he's around, you know. There's different, like, you can employ all those resources. You know, he has the resources of Andrew when he's around, you know? And that's the purpose that we're here. And that's one of the reasons I'm putting together our Tech Team 6 panel to be able to help, right? But you're always going to be struggling. And struggling is a great, great thing. Okay, that's a little strong. I don't despise people who hate struggling, but you know, a lot of people are complaining because
I'm in a bind, Nate.
Sorry. But struggling is a good thing because that's how you build character. That's how you build strength. Like when you're lifting weights, right? It's a struggle to lift the weight. If the weight isn't too like challenging, then you're not doing anything. Right? You are always going to be struggling from the day you were born. You struggle to get out the womb. Right? To the day you die. Because you're going to be fighting to stay for one more breath. But that is good struggle. Because that's how you learn. That's how you get better. If I didn't struggle through all the things that I learned, I wouldn't be where I am today. Right? So processes, tools, stuff like that, you can always make the process better. And that's why we have our plannings, our retrospectives, what tools. A lot of times, like, I don't even know the tools that I need until I need them, right? Like, for instance, when working with Python, the library for Python is massive, right? And I'm like, okay, I do a Google search. I'm like, okay, this is what I need to do, right? This is what I need to do. Python, whatever it is I need to do. And then I get these different libraries. I can combine libraries, do like different maybe API calls. You know, it's about engineering. And as a QA engineer, you're going to like keep pushing further. We are pioneers, right? We are pioneers in the field. Don, like, it is one of the greatest blessings in my life to have met Don because he, like, just in the short time that I've known him, he's made me better. He's made me think more. He's pushed me more, right? But that's part of the struggle. What is a challenge? A challenge is something that you struggle through. Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, 7:15 a.m. Eastern time, we challenge ourselves. We struggle through this, right? You saw the struggle when we were trying to add the health check. See the struggle of trying to open up the pull request. We tried to open it through PyCharm, and then we found out that Don prevents third-party applications through OAuth from pushing pull requests. So we had to push it up through the command line and then go into GitHub and open up the pull request. All right. So struggling is what makes you better. Don't avoid struggling. Right. Like you said that. What are we currently struggling in? Like we struggle through everything, but that's what ultimately gives us the results that we want to get. All right. So, and then Don says, of course, teamwork makes the dream work. All right. So let's put up our last. This is going to be our very, very last question for the night, and then we'll be back again next week. But if you got in this far, right? If you have gotten this far and you have not subscribed to the channel yet, what the hell are you waiting for? But maybe you are so caught up into this amazing, amazing show tonight. You got fascinated by the lights, by the quality of video, by the mask that's right there, right? Where is it? My cybersecurity mask. You know, maybe all of that got you, right? And you forgot to close out the chat, right? Like what you got to do. You see the chat when you come into the stream, right? Has a chat. You have to close it out. You got to like the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel. Subscribe to the channel. All right? That's what you got to do. And because if you want more information like this, you got to subscribe. You have to hit the notification bell so you can know every time that I go live when I drop a new video. Right? Because I drop so much content. Like from the Q&A clips, I get video every single day. And then I have hired a video editor, right? And they're going to be clipping up more videos and making that available to you as well. So it is going to be information overload, but consume it at your own pace, right? Because I want you to win. I want you to win.
The only thing I'm addicted to right now is winning.
And of course, check out the Patreon, techcoachralph.dev, www.techcoachralph.dev. All right. So Sean says, speaking of struggle, what I'm learning as I get older is that it's not that life gets easier, but you grow stronger.
Let's get it. We the best.
Yes. That is. Sean, you are just hitting us with gems tonight. Oh my goodness. Jesus Christ. This is amazing. You know, second week into his position and he's just dropping this knowledge on us. My goodness. You know, Sean, it is an absolute pleasure to have you here with us. All right. So let's get into our last question though. Let's get into our last question. Subscribe to the channel, the notification bell, like the video, share the video, all that good stuff. All right. But let's do our last question for the night. Let me put our 5 minutes on the clock. And
another one.
I'm not making enough to survive. Advice. I'm afraid it will never, ever change. I'm a 27-year-old female, recently married. I should be so happy, and I am so sad. I have a master's degree and a job that pays $21 an hour. It's hard to say if I'll make more here anytime soon. My husband is working preload for UPS and then as a driver helper. This is temporary until he can find something better, and the hourly is as much as I make. So, I mean, collectively, you guys make $42 an hour. So, I mean, you know, it's a start. We also own a bike shop. I did not see that coming. All right. but new bike sales have dwindled severely post-pandemic, which is why my husband is looking for other work and is part-time now. However, our paychecks don't even count. All of our money immediately goes to a car payment, gas, groceries. We are very frugal, bills, and student loans. Well, I don't know if it's frugal if your money's going everywhere else, and you might just be hungry. You might just be hungry. Anyhow, I have no ability to save for anything. I feel like at 27, I should at least be capable of saving. I think all the time about how I could be making more money on the side, but nothing ever seems to work. It will work. Nothing ever seems. Well, hold on a second. I think all the time about how I could be making more money on the side, but nothing ever seems like it will work without me completely overworking myself. Well, you might also be lazy. I'm a certified personal trainer, but the Y where I train clients will only pay me $13.50 an hour for about 4 hours a week. It doesn't even feel worth my time to go. To go private would mean having extra insurance and a gym to train from, which I don't have the capital for. I feel like I did all the right things, went to school, got an extra degree, and have nothing to show for it. I remember a song by Scarface with the Ghetto Boys, which said, actually it was by Willie D. It said, you have nothing to show for it. That was one of my favorite songs, actually. Anyways, I digress. I want a home so badly, and I don't ever see it happening. My husband can't have kids without medical assistant, even though we both want them, and I don't ever see being able to afford that either. Well, not everyone should have kids, especially if you can't afford it, then you probably shouldn't have kids. It's a numbers game here, okay, people? All right. I spend my nights lying awake worrying about paying our bills and how I can whittle our grocery list. All I do is work, it feels like, and I never have anything to show for it. I don't know how to dig myself out. I think I have marketable skills, background in journalism, and a master's in nutrition. I've applied to many remote part-time copy editing jobs with no luck. Figures? Any suggestions or leads? I've applied to higher paying jobs, but most want more experience. I have nearly 3 years in nutrition, education, and 2 in writing. Well, let's get the show on the road, DJ. All right. And by DJ, I meant like this jockey, not Don. Anyways, so why am I so harsh? Well, not only because it's our last question of the show, but this one line right here, right? This one line. Oh my God. Where is it? It says, I feel like I did all the right things. I went to school, got an extra degree, and have absolutely nothing, not a zilch, nada to show for it. Well, that is because if you do everything right and you have nothing to show for it, then you probably didn't do everything right. I am a very practical, pragmatic person, numbers game, and I do automation, I do jujitsu, and it's like always tinkering, always trying to figure things out, right? So I think we just spoke about this, right? We just spoke about it. Oh my God. So all of our money immediately goes to car payments, gas, groceries, bills, and student loans, right? Okay. I know you're hungry, right? But Why, if you're broke, let's start very practical. Why, if you're broke, do you have a car payment? Right? Get a hoopty. Get scooters. I remember earlier this year, I went to Costco and I got those little electric bikes for, I think they were like 400 bucks on sale, something like that. 350 actually, they were 350, right? Get one of those electric bikes. Take public transportation, take your little electric bike with you and go from there, right? Why are you required to have a car payment when you're broke? Just charge up your car or charge up your bike, right? Or your scooter or something, right? And then student loans for your master's degree for a job that pays $21 an hour. One of the group chats that I'm in, right? And one of my people, they were like, "Oh yeah, this part-time job is paying $20 an hour." I'm like, $20 an hour? And I was like, yeah, I'm like, that sounds pretty low for our age, right? Which we are much older than 27, but I'm like, that sounds pretty low for our age. And one of them was like, "Oh, that's pretty good for a part-time." And I was like, oh, get behind me, Satan, right? I our priorities are so messed up, right? Like I was just talking about that in the previous question, like or 2 questions ago, right? We don't plan our future. We just wing it. We just wing it and we just hope whatever the spaghetti we throws at the wall is gonna stick, right? We treat our lives as a game. Like we are so much more invested in our fake video game lives than we are in our real lives, right? That we would go and we would put ourselves in tons and tons of debt. We'll buy a car that we can't afford to put gas in the car to go places that we shouldn't be going to. And then we have to starve because we have to be frugal on groceries. Why aren't you frugal with your car payments, with your gas, with your bills, with your student loans, right? And I can only imagine the amount of student loans that you have to pay for a master's in journalism and nutrition and all that type of stuff, right? Do we not have anybody that we can speak to before we make these decisions? We are so messed up. I remember like over the summer trying to coach these 2 young men, right? One 13, one 15, or no, one 14, one 17 or turning 17, some nonsense like that, right? And I'm like, you guys are at the prime age where you guys like you can learn something so that when you do go to college, like you can actually be ready to start working and like be working while in college and start making a bunch of money, right? Start developing your own things, your own applications and stuff like that, right? But they want to go to the NBA. They don't want to put in the work in. They don't even want to practice for basketball at that, right? But they want to go to the NBA. I drop them like a sack of potatoes. But you guys probably noticed, right? You don't see Melissa in the chat as much because she is working. I speak to her just about every single day, but she is working, right? 17, finishing high school, right? In another country, right? Learning web development, learning UI UX, asking me questions about Python, creating prompts, showing to her teacher, to her professor, saying, "Oh, like test out this software that I'm creating," like this basic stuff, right? But at 17 years old, right? And listening to a live stream the other day, and someone was saying, "Oh, because our people are at a disadvantage and stuff like that because the other people like they expose their children at an early age to software and technology so that they are way ahead, right? But I just gave you an example of one 17-year-old young lady, right, who is working tirelessly, going to sleep at like maybe 2 o'clock in the morning, waking up early, learning Python, learning UI UX, learning Python, right? Still getting good grades in school, right? Speaks four languages, right? But in another country, right? But we have two brothers, two young men here who I'm like trying to push them, don't want to put in any effort. Want to go to the NBA where there's only 450 people who make it there. Is it that we are at a disadvantage or we don't work as hard as some other people do? We have hoop dreams. When you have people like me, like Don, like Andrew, who want to help, right? But the parents don't push the kids in the right direction. And then we want to compare ourselves to other people who might push their kids in a better direction. But I think it's just a poor mentality that a certain, class of people have. Because I even see it in adults, right? Like, don't get me wrong, it's not only kids. Adults are the same way. You'll say, "Hey, this is the plan. This is where like you come to me and you tell me this is where you want to get to, right? This is where you want to get to. This is the plan." And I say, "Okay, let me help you get the blueprint. This is the work that we're gonna have to do. It's gonna be a lot. You are already way far behind. We need to get you caught up." And then we start working, and then boom, you're gone. You have other priorities. See, I am 100% committed to the work. Wake up early, go to sleep late, always strategizing, right? Me and Don, we came up with something like we were talking over the weekend. Oh, think about this idea. Oh, how can we build this? Boom, 2 days later, ready to roll. Right? We work because we have places that we want to be. But you come into our industry and you're like, oh, I need some help and I need to do this, I need to do that. And we're all right, this is the plan. And then you're like, oh, nope. What the hell do you have better to do? Like you say you want this. You spent 10, 20K. And then when we actually give you the work to do, it's too hard. It's too much. And then you want to make it in the field? You want to make it in tech? No. Going back to the question, right? You're a certified personal trainer at the YMCA, making $13.50 an hour for 4 hours a week. It doesn't feel worth your time. Well, maybe you should check out the time value calculator, right? Your time currently has no value. Your time doesn't have any value right now. Your hourly worth from a practical point of view is like maybe $2. Let's do the math. Let's do the math. Let's do the math real quick. So you're making $21 an hour. Where's my calculator? Typically, I don't share the screen. I can take this off the screen. Typically, I don't share the screen on a Tuesday night, but we're going to do this real quick, right? So let's go to, let's go here, right? So $21 an hour. Let's say 80 for 2 weeks times 26, right? We're at $43,000 a year, right? I even make it even more accurate, right? 43,680, right? $43,680, right? An hour of your time is worth $4.99. How did I come to this calculation? I take the total amount that you make per year divided by 8,760 hours in a year. I got this formula from my second favorite content creator, Anton Daniels. Right? A minute of your time is worth 8 cents. A second of your time is worth 0.001 cents. So, for you to be talking about it's not even worth your time, right now, your time is worth $4.99 an hour. But then to go private would mean to have extra insurance and a gym to train from. Well, that means you. What's the name of that gym? The purple one, Planet Fitness, $10 a month. UFit, $10 a month. Right? That's $120 a year plus the whatever yearly maintenance fee, whatever. Right? Insurance. Like, you don't even want to invest in yourself, right? But, you feel like you did all the right things. Went to school, got an extra useless degree, and have nothing to show for it. And then you want a home so badly. Why do you want a home? Why? You could, like, when I was broke, when I was hungry, the last thing that was ever on my mind was owning a home. I wanted food. The last thing that was on my mind was kids. At this point, you need to, instead of spending your night lying awake, worrying about how you're going to pay your bills, spend your nights awake, going through Udemy, learning something, learning some technical stuff, maybe pick up how to develop websites, maybe pick up how to build Android applications. Learn something that's going to add value into the world, right? Learn how to build things, how to develop, how to do something, right? Because nowadays with personal training and stuff, there's Apple Watches for that. There's Fitbit for that. There's whatever online that you can find, right? You can go on ChatGPT and say, ChatGPT, you know what? Let's do it. Let's do it. All right, so let's do this, right? So let's close the bar and let's share this twice in one. Go to ChatGPT, right? And we're going to say, I need a workout and nutrition plan to build muscle and lose weight. I am 50 pounds overweight. Let's see what ChatGPT gives us. Look at that. Your nutrition license and your personal training all in 5 seconds. Workout plan, strength training, example workout, cardiovascular exercise, cardiovascular routine, and then the nutrition plan, caloric deficit, macronutrient distribution, protein, blah, 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 all that good stuff. Limited processed foods, hydration, drink plenty of water, meal timing. This is probably bad advice, but nonetheless, consistency is the key, results. And then imagine if there's some app that can motivate you, but maybe David Goggins or something like that, that can tell you like, get to work, stop being a beep, right? So, instead of lying awake at night, crying, worrying, go learn something. Udemy just had their Black Friday, Cyber Monday sale, and it's probably still on sale right now. Probably on sale for the week, right? Get rid of your car. You won't have gas payment. You won't have to pay insurance. And if you're making payments, you have to have full coverage, right? Put yourself in a better position to win. There's no room for enjoying life right now. You're gonna have to actually struggle to get to the other side of where you want to be. All right? It's the cold, hard truth. But a lot of times, that's what we need. Because
You either win with us or you watch us win.
Whew. All right. We are done with our questions for tonight. We will pick back up next week with more Q&A. I truly appreciate.
I appreciate you.
I appreciate Sean for hanging out with me tonight. I appreciate Don for hanging out with me tonight. I appreciate our newest subscriber, Kwesi, for blessing us with his presence and asking an amazing question. Kwesi, please get back to me either in the next live stream, which is on Thursday night, where we're going to be going through some different Linux commands using Docker, or leave me a comment on the video, or email me at ralph@techcoachingwithralph.com. Whatever it is, get in contact with me. I want to go a little bit further into your question about what to do next. I want to put you in contact with Sox as well about Sox University, and tune in as well in 2 weeks to our cybersecurity Q&A, where you can ask Don directly, find out more about Sox University, all that good stuff. It was a pleasure to have you here. So that's it, right? With that being said, if you haven't done so yet, like the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell so you can know every single time that we go live. All that good stuff, right? Check out the Patreon, www.techcoachralph.dev. Tomorrow, I am going to be dropping the video. It's already set to premiere, right? Like it right now. Hit the notification bell so you can know when it drops, right? But it's going to be talking about my top used Linux commands, terminal commands as a QA engineer. Use these every day, right? You're not going to want to miss it. Trust me, you are not going to want to miss it. But that being said, oh yeah, don't forget, tomorrow morning, 7:15 a.m., we're going live, right? We're going to be doing some more challenges. We're going to continue with the rock, paper, scissors, right? Tune in tomorrow morning. wake up. It's 7:15 a.m. You should be up by then. You should be up, already worked out, already showered, ready to hit the ground running. Right? Wake up and let's get to work. I'll be here. Will you? 7:15 a.m. Eastern time tomorrow morning. Wake up early. Get to work. Stop wasting time. All right? With that being said, thank you guys so much for tuning in. I appreciate every last one of you.
I appreciate you.
But before we go, I have a question for you on Q&A night. What is that question?
Are you not entertained? Are you not entertained? Is this not why you are here?
Are you not entertained? I know I am. But until next time, friends, family, have a wonderful, wonderful night. I'll see you in the morning.
You might think that getting into the IT field is impossible without a computer science degree, but Tech Coach Ralph is here to prove you wrong. Get ready for some jaw-dropping revelations on how to break into this lucrative industry. Listen up, tech enthusiasts! Are you ready to break through into the IT field, but feel like you need a computer science degree to make it happen? Think again. Tech Coach Ralph has some exclusive, mind-blowing secrets to share with you. Get ready to be blown away by his jaw-dropping revelations on how to break into the tech industry without a computer science degree. So get your notepad ready, because Tech Coach Ralph is going to change your life forever. Buckle up, because you're about to embark on a journey to success in the IT field.
Hear me, warriors of the North. Today we have tasted the sweet nectar of victory. Our foes indeed defeated, and their lands are now bowed before us. The gods themselves have favored our glorious deeds on this glorious day. We have shed blood, sweat, and tears to claim this land. Our relentless spirit, our unyielding determination. These are the very essence of our people. The spirit of our ancestors rejoice in the halls of Valhalla. For today, we have added to their eternal glory. Our victories will echo throughout the ages, and our names will be etched in the annals of history. But let us not forget the price we paid, the brothers and sisters we lost. They now feast in the hall of our forefathers, watching over us with pride. Their sacrifice has paved the way for this moment of triumph. As we celebrate this conquest, let us also remember that our journey is far from over. More land awaits our conquest, more battles upon us forth. And the fire in our hearts burn ever brighter, for there is no limit to what we can achieve. To those who dare stand against us, let them tremble in fear, for they shall witness the fury of the northern storm, the wrath of the untamed barbarians. Today we celebrate our victory. Tomorrow, we set our sights on new horizons, a charted land where our banners will fly high. We are Vikings, we're barbarians, we are masters of conquest.
Thank you for your patronage.